Hey kids, it's that time when we talk about comic books. So I hope you're ready. I hope you've been reading some comic books. I have. I've got a nice little stack here, and there's a lot in here that I actually wasn't very happy with. So maybe you'll like this video even more because I'll be unhappy about stuff as opposed to trying to get you to read stuff. People respond to negativity. What do you want? The other thing I wanted to mention is that I am taking this Dermacol challenge. I don't know if you've seen these online. Girls are putting this makeup on. So if you see anything different about my makeup, let me know. I don't see anything different about it, except for that it feels lighter. That's the one thing I would say about what I'm wearing now with this over what I used to wear, which I won't tell you what it was, and I won't do a video where I don't have makeup on at all, because a lady does not do that. I'm sorry, she do not. But anyways, let's get into some comic books. The first one I wanted to bring up, if you're reading it or not, is of course the epic Secret Empire. We've got an empire. It's been kind of bland so far. One of the things, my problems with this, I guess, is that in the last couple of mega crossover hits that they've had, they kind of telegraphed everything that's going to happen in this one. So the most interesting part of this to me is just what would it be like if Captain America, our symbol of, the United States, tried to sell Hydra to us, and they don't have enough of that. In fact, they kind of teased us with it, and now everything ever since then has just been like, I don't know, these very routine kind of like characters, just debating whether or not, life is worth it, or I don't know what they're really going about. There's a couple, like, for example, this cover, which is, a play off of that Punisher cover. We all already know, no spoilers really, that it was predicted that Miles Morales, Spider-Man, was going to kill Captain America, and so that's part of what's going down in this. Does he? I don't know. You have to read the book. But when you know, basically, like, major plot points, even when they get to them, you're just kind of like, okay, well, now what? Because it's just too much buildup, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And they're not hitting any of the things that I find interesting. There's a ton of spin-offs to this as well, which I thought maybe the main story wouldn't be interrupted by it, but apparently it is. So, I don't know. And this cover's a good example of it. A lot of the characters that they're using in it aren't acting the way that you want them to. So their choices of which side they're taking doesn't come off logically to me. Although I don't really care for short hair Thor. I know some people probably do, but I'm not really a big fan. Which is ironic because I don't really like men with long hair, but for Thor it works, It makes sense for Thor to have long hair. I just don't like, this is obviously influence from the movie. So there you go with that. I guess there's only 3 more issues of this to go through. The other thing that I don't like about this, of course, Daddy Captain America in the book is very handsome, but they've kind of did this thing where, I think I ruined it for you already last time, right? That basically he's acting the way he's acting because of the Cosmic Cube. It's shattered, and so part of his life shattered too. But in the book, he's also kind of caught up into some other alternate universe, mind game. That's him as Daddy Captain America fighting with the Red Skull in, like, the woods. Right? How exciting is that? So he gets tortured and tied up by the Red Skull. It's somebody's fantasy, I guess. But there you go with that. So that's going on. I'm still reading that. I don't know if anybody else is, but if you are, and you can make better sense of it than I can, please do. But basically, all the characters just aren't acting the way that I want them characters to act. So let's get into some good stuff. I'm still reading Medicine, and if you're looking for a slightly independent comic to read, that's cool. Medicine is good. I probably don't even pronounce it that way. Medicine, people. Action Lab Danger Zone. The basic story is that it's a team of doctors who work for a supervillain to work on supervillains when they get hurt in battle. And they're starting to drop a story of one of them is a traitor. One of them works for the good guys. And we don't know who that is yet. But the villain who basically controls all the doctors has said, okay, well, why don't you figure it out? What I'll do is I'll kill one of your loved ones every day until you figure who it is. So now they're all kind of in a panic, like, we gotta find out who's this person who's doing the thing of the thing. So is anybody reading this? I have to remember to say my tagline. Is anybody reading this? Because you should. It's been good so far. I don't know if it's a miniseries or not, but it's really good, and I like the art. I like the little at the end they have little who's pages, so give you a little bio about the characters as well, so you don't feel lost or anything like that. There is a couple of gay characters in it. There's a lot of nudity in it. People have sex and stuff, which is funny to watch if people have superpowers and they're having sex. It's funny to watch anyone have sex. Superpowers or not. So, but this is what I'm suggesting for people to read. But he said, it's been fun. That's only the 3rd issue. I believe we are done with these 2 series that I'm going to show you now. Darth Maul and Namwolf. I think these are the last issues of these 2. They were both fun. With Darth Maul, Darth Maul is a character that aesthetically looks very cool, right? I think we all agree Star Wars has always had cool-looking villains, and then they just kill them off. Darth Maul is one of those. So this book kind of tries to expand on who he is and give him some motivations and stuff like that. And this story, this miniseries is basically the story of his first Jedi kill. The first Jedi that he ever killed, right? Which I guess is something that all of the Sith have to do, because even in the Darth Vader series right now, the Emperor has told him, you've got to go out and get a lightsaber. Because he told him basically the difference between a blue lightsaber and a red lightsaber is this one's tasted blood. So you need your lightsaber to taste blood. So in this series, it's been interesting to see what an internalized character Darth Maul actually is. He overthinks a lot of stuff. He's a thinker. He's had a pretty good supporting cast in this series. The Jedi that he has to fight is an interesting character. He's got a couple of bounty hunters with him who I really liked a lot. Were really interesting, so I wouldn't mind another little miniseries with Darth Maul, or even a ongoing with Darth Maul. I think there's something to be mined here. What was interesting to me about the character and the way that the story is written, I don't know, if that's what the writer meant, is that Darth Maul, in his interactions with the Jedi, is very convinced that he can turn her to the dark side. And she kind of keeps alluding to him that, hey, you're really not so bad, They don't fall in love. They should have just kissed. I don't know. It should have just been a romance comic, but no, they fight, and I won't give away the ending, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So if this is collected as a trade, and you like Star Wars, and you want to know more about Darth Maul, you might want to get that. And it's by my favorite writer right now, Colin Bunn. So I just seem to be reading everything that he writes, so he's unofficially my favorite writer right now. Officially, unofficially. Namwolf is over, and it's been fun. The story has been fun. This issue here seemed a little rushed, so I'm not sure if they were just trying to end it all, really quickly or what. But if it gets collected into a trade, I think you'll like it. The story's not anything, super surprising or anything. Basically, a werewolf goes to Vietnam, and he doesn't know at first that he is a werewolf, but, because of the horrors of war and how war is hell, he learns that he has these powers to, destroy things. And I wanted to show you some of the art. It's very reminiscent of Gorillas, if you're reading that series. But, it's a little cartoony, but I don't mind some cartoony art. Oh, it's a little shiny, too. I don't know if you can see it or not, but, there we go. So, a little gory as well, as you can see. So, it's fun for the kids. It's a history book, really, if you think about it. Children need to know about Vietnam, and they need to know about werewolves, that aren't shiny. And I just love these covers. The covers have been awesome. So, this writer and this artist, I don't think I know them, but I would be interested to see more from them. So, Albatross, good going on that series there. Now let's get into the things that I didn't like. Shirtless Bear Fighter. No, I love Shirtless Bear Fighter. I think this is just a mini-series, though, which, this needs to be an ongoing, right? I mean, there's so many things that need to be said. But the thing that I love the most about it, other than, Shirtless Bear Fighter, who's just, a big old daddy, is that, It's funny. It's just really funny. You know, at first and this is issue 2, when they had this character who's just sort of like a hillbilly warlock pig, I just thought, again? But there's actually some really good jokes in here, and one I'm going to spoil for you now, just because it's something I was thinking, and now they put it in the book, and so I was like, oh my god, oh funny. So basically, Shirtless, to set it up for you, Shirtless Bear Fighter's talking about, all the bears he's had to fight, basically. He's been around the world, and he's had to fight bears, okay? And so my favorite one is this page, of course, because he comes to Chicago to fight the Bears, which, as you can see, is the football team. And then he goes to San Francisco to fight the Bears, which is all these heavy-set men in jockstraps. So that makes sense. That made sense to me, and I said, yes. Yes to this series. And again, I think it's only a limited series, but I think we need Return of the Shirtless Bear Fighter. We need Son of Shirtless Bear Fighter. We need, or it should be Cub of Shirtless Bear Fighter. There you go. It's free, gratis. Layup, however you say your name, Gertner, Vendrell, Spicer, these people. Free, take that idea, Cub of Shirtless Bear Fighter. So that was that. I still like that. I read the second issue of The Dam. So now I read the first volume, actually, too. And, again, it's Colin Bunn. And, I don't have the same feel-good about it the way that I did when I first picked up Sixth Gun. Sixth Gun was definitely one of those series that I followed the entire way through. I got every single issue, was on the ride the entire time. And what surprised me about it is, like, I didn't think I was going to like it. It's a Western. Yeah, there's some supernatural elements to it, but it was a Western, and so I was just sort of like, what? But they knew what they were doing. So now this is basically kind of like a noir, it's kind of a detective-y noir with some mysticism in it, demons and different things like that. Since this is only issue number 2, I'll give it a little bit more to see whether or not it catches my attention or not. Brian Hurt is one of my favorite artists too. I just love everything he does. It's cartoony to some people, but it's it works for me. I guess I'll see what happens with this. I love noir and I love comic books, so you would think the melding of those two worlds would be right up my alley. But I don't know. It hasn't clicked with me yet. And even when I read the first volume, like I mentioned, I got the first trade. I was like, okay, well, that was the story. But it didn't didn't take me anywhere. So we'll see if that lasts or not. There we go. Now I have to mention 2, actually I have 3 absolute new number 1s here. 2 of them are just terrible. They're horrible. One of them's good. Do you know what they are? Did you get any new comics this week? Well, you would think that this would be a slam dunk. You would think that someone would know what to do with this. It's Betty Page, the comic book. Yes. So, Dynamite. Who is getting the money for this, by the way? Is the estate of Betty Page getting any cut of this? Because she deserves it, number 1. But number 2, if all you want to do is just have like 20 different variant covers, with cheesy, cheesecake photos of Betty, all right. But don't even try to come up with a storyline or anything. This should just be single issues adventures of Betty's, because they're trying to do this thing where nobody knew this, but Betty was a secret agent for the government, right? Which would be fine and well in and of itself if she was getting into, fun, cutesy situations in which she had to wear a bikini or something like that. But as much as they want to put cheesecake on the cover, it feels like the writer and the artists are like, but we don't want to be sexist, or we don't want to, we want to seem sort of feminist. No, honey, go where you need to go. The way to write this book is to let Betty be Betty. Let her be a scamp and a scoundrel and a pretty girl, and let her use her feminine wiles, because she wants to, not because you're going to create a situation when she doesn't want to. So the thing I have to show you in here is that even if these people supposedly love Betty Page, and I really doubt that, they don't know. The art is just atrocious. It's absolutely terrible. Look at, I'm trying to find a really good close-up. Look at this picture. That's not Betty Page. This is some bad, sketchy, let me first try to do just a little sketch of her face, and I'm going to use that as the interior art. What, girl? No, I'm sorry. Betty is not just, these bangs, and it's just throughout the whole thing that the art is just horrible. Now there's a couple of times where she gets tied up and she's at the mercy of other people. Let me show you this other really terrible piece of art. So look at this. She's running away, and obviously her can is supposed to be. Can I say can? Her can is supposed to be the focal point of this, but the art is so bad. There's no. Honey, this was an opportunity for cheesecake, and you missed it. And they miss it every single time in this comic. Any chance there's another one where she's hanging, off of a fire escape? Give it to us. If you're going to have Betty Page be your character, give us the cheesecake. Don't be, don't half-step at people, because otherwise it's a waste of paper. I really get the feeling that they just wanted to have 20 variant covers, and hopefully you'll buy it just for the cover. Because there's no story in this, and that's too bad, because Betty Page deserves better than that. Call me Dynamite, I'll write you a Betty Page story, okay? I will, because she deserves better than that. Oh, and then, you know what? Let me do a Tora Satana comic. Yes. Let's do a Festa Priscilla comic. Yes! Yes! Okay. So that was a real big disappointment, because I was really looking forward to it. I was like, someone's going to take on Betty? Let's do it. This one just, I'll buy anything. And this one just, oh, look at my hair, it looks crazy. Okay. Just from the cover, from the title alone, I said, well, of course I've got to buy this. I cannot not buy this. How can I not buy a comic called Sisters of Sorrow? How can I not buy this? So I bought it, and it's Kurt Sutter's Sisters of Sorrow. So I don't know if this is based off of a book or whatever you have, but it's so bad. It's terrible. Ugh. Basically, the thing that's the worst about it, other than the art, is that they basically just throw you right into the story. They give you no setup for any of the characters for you to get to know who they are. So if you haven't been reading Kurt Sutter this whole time, I guess you're going to be lost. But maybe if you have, you'll be a fan. It has a very basic concept. A group home for women, most of them sexual abuse survivors, all rally around one girl when she kills her boyfriend, and then they decide, well, now we got to go on a killing spree and kill just any man that we see, basically, is what it seems like. And, there's cops and people following them, and some girls don't want to, but they eventually do, and it's a really heavy-handed revenge fantasy, I think, and it's not very interesting. The art is not very good. You can see right here some pages. It's just, meh, girl. You're not, no. I'm sorry. It's not. And the problem I had with this first issue is that they just drop you into that world. They don't give you any setup. It's like the first thing you see is a man comes in and he's gonna, beat up a girlfriend because she needs to just go home and do what she's supposed to do. And they kill him. So, this could be a miniseries. Although I pretty much got the gist of it from this one issue. I, don't need to see any more. And they kill a couple of guys in this, and then they end it by saying, "Who's next?" So, if you want to get your revenge fantasy on, this is the title for you. But overall, Sisters of Sorrow did not. It's not Sisters of Mercy, unfortunately. Did not do it for me. Sorry, Boom Studios. Better luck next time. All right, now here's the last comic, and it's one that I wasn't expecting a lot from, but it actually delivered for a first issue. Whether or not it will continue to do so, let's find out. But I know Marvel's given up, and you probably have given up too, but does anyone have any room in their heart for the X-Men? That's my pitch. Astonishing X-Men #1. So now, of course, Jim Cheung's art alone is worth the price of admission, right? But there's actually a pretty good story here. And the thing that drew me into it, because I've been ignoring the X-Men just like everybody else. I mean, the latest stories and everything like that, it's just boring. Ever since they brought back those kids, actually, is when it went off the rails for me. I just don't like too much time travel crap and alternate universe crap. A little goes a long way, and once you've gotten to like 30 characters who are all, Old Man Logan for one, who are all from some other timeline, even Bishop, I'm looking at this now and I'm just like, wait a minute, there's tons of these characters who shouldn't even be in this reality. It's just sort of like, come on, just, can you write one story for whatever? But I do like most of the characters on this cover. I'm a fan of Fantomex. I'm a fan of Psylocke. I'm a fan of Archangel and Mystique, of course. I haven't really read anything of Old Man Logan, so I don't know what his deal is other than I'm an old Wolverine. But in this issue, basically, the Shadow King is back, and and Psylocke knows it. And she sends all the other X-Men, at least this group of people, into the Shadow King's world. So kill him, basically. Get rid of him. Because if you don't stop him there, he's coming here, is basically what she says. And so I assume she contacted these specific people because they all have some connection to her. I haven't been reading X-Men, so I don't know all the things, I know, obviously, she had a relationship with Fantomex. I think she had a relationship with Archangel, and then these two had a relationship, and then these two had a relationship, and then Bishop just watched from a corner and masturbated. I guess. I don't know. What do you do when everyone else is hooking up? But the story was really good. It's going to draw me in, at least for the first storyline. What I loved about it is that the voices of the characters that I know anyways were correct, especially Fantomex, which is one of my favorites. They remembered some of the things that I remembered anyways about these characters and their relationship to each other. So hopefully that'll be plot points as this goes forward. One of the funny things about it is, so she sets up, Psylocke gathers all these people, and she's sort of like, I'm glad that because of course they're like, why are we here? I gathered you all here for blah, 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 here's the plot of the next 5 issues. And she says, but you have to go now. You have to go now, because it's happening now. Shadow King is happening now. I can't even hardly even explain it. Just get into the world, and be ready. So she's got time to tell them that. No, I mean, she doesn't have any time to tell them any more than that, but she has plenty of time to say that she doesn't want certain people to be there just because she doesn't like them. For example, like Fantomex. She wastes, pages, which I'm going to say are, minutes, if not, 10 to 5 minutes, just, no, I don't want to send you. I don't know why you're here. We had a relationship and you just did me wrong, so I don't know why you're even here, and I don't want to send you. It's like, girl, you just said this was a emergency. Everyone needs to leave now. But apparently you've got time for your little, meltdown. So I thought that was funny, but also kind of, didn't ring quite right for me. And it's like, okay, we're all in a hurry, but not that much of a hurry. So, but I loved it, and I loved the art. And then I'm going to give you a little peekaboo at it if you haven't read it. But maybe this is this title that will bring me back into the X-Men. So, I think a lot of times I go in and I come out, and I go in and I come out, and that has nothing to do with comic books. It's just my life. No, I mean, oh, look. We got Warren Worthington with the hairy chest. That's always fun. So I like the duality that they're playing with him there because, he's trying to keep Archangel on the lockdown because Archangel likes to kill, and he doesn't want, to let him loose to do so. So, wait, there was a picture in here I wanted to share that it's just, the art is... It's everything, isn't it? I mean, this art is just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. Such a good artist. I don't know how long he'll stay on this title. But hopefully it's for a while. Here she is sending everybody away, which is a pretty good little panel there. Let me see that. It's giving me that Young Avengers feel, I love that series. And, there's a surprise at the end, too. I don't want to ruin it for you. Just in case you go and get it. Which I suggest you do. Astonishing X-Men. I don't know how long it'll last, but it's got a good start. So, if I was going to tell you what to read this week, I think that might be the winner. Let me just I'm going to say the 2 comics that are on my list this week that you should pick up for sure are Astonishing X-Men and Medicine. Get into these. They're both have been pretty good. I'm excited about them. I'm excited about comics in general. So I'm just an excitable person.